Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Lee Judges TV. Now, listen, we've got a couple of really interesting topics to talk about today. Obviously, Lacazette is one. Also, what's going on over in America with the LA Rams. Lots of money being splashed out over there. And really none at the Arsenal at this moment in time. But before we do that, you know the drill now. I do this little thing with BetVictor. They were talking about Liverpool and Chelsea, who's had the best team. Like, glad I weren't on this week because, rubbish conversation as far as I'm concerned. Like, one team won 2 Tin Pot trophies in Europe. I have to admit that you have to win bigger things to get to them. And Liverpool, well, they done what Arsenal done many moons ago. Here's a clip.
Liverpool fans probably not going to like this one, but as a Chelsea fan, we've won 2 trophies this season. 2 trophies that did not exist in the cabinet before a ball was kicked in August last year, 2021. Super Cup, Club World Cup. Whereas Liverpool, not only did they only win 2, when it looked like it could have been a miraculous miracle of 4, the fact that Chelsea won 2 trophies we've never won, the history books are going to look back at 21-22 and think, well, Chelsea's season was actually pretty special. Meanwhile, Liverpool, nobody really remembers the runners-up, which is kind of ironic when they beat us in 2 finals, the League Cup and the FA Cup. But when Chelsea look at their 2 trophies they've won this season, we're talking about 2 that complete an already lucrative trophy cabinet, whereas Liverpool added another League Cup, added another FA Cup, but the rest of it is always going to be known as what if. So in my humble opinion, as a Chelsea fan, despite being 15, 20 points away from Liverpool in second place, finishing 3rd in the Premier League, I'll save you all the excuses, but the history books are going to remember Chelsea's season this year probably in the same kind of quality and in the same light as that of Liverpool's.
I'll tell you what, Chelsea fans, I'll tell you what, they're a breed on their own. I really have to say, you know what I mean? But what can I say? Let's just quickly talk about that quickly. For me, Liverpool had a much better season. One reason is that they pushed Manchester City to the title all the way, where I think Chelsea were very, very disappointing. They won 2 cups that only 2 teams, one of them won competition where the European Cup holders and Villarreal were the other team when they, so they only had 1 game to play, the Super Cup. That's like claiming the Charity Shield as a trophy, by the way. And of course, then they won the Super Cup, which I don't think most people really watched other than Chelsea fans. That's my opinion, really. Like, if I'll be honest, and for me, Liverpool had a fantastic season. If I'll be honest, it could have been a lot better for Liverpool. I did think at one stage that Liverpool were going to win all 4. I did think that at one stage, but it didn't happen. Thankfully, I'll be honest. I didn't want them to win all 4. Actually, I did want them to beat Manchester City because I think that. For me, I always go for the team that's a proper club, not a money club. So, like Chelsea and Manchester City, I don't really like for those reasons. But what do you guys think, Dave and Helen? What do you think of that?
Helen, I'll let you go first on that one. Chelsea, Liverpool, who has had a better season?
I think it goes without saying, Liverpool.
Yeah.
I mean, Chelsea, for obvious political reasons, took a bit of a dive towards the end of the season. So I'm surprised they're in the conversation.
True, yeah. And I've got to say something about Mr. George Benson and Hedges, who you just seen in that clip. He actually said, and I spoke to Lee earlier about it, he's actually forgot that Chelsea's already won the Super Cup before. In 98 when they beat Real Madrid, my team. So he's actually got his history facts there wrong, Mr. Benson and Hedges. But, I'll let that stand.
I should keep the singing, old Jules Benson, shouldn't we? Like that? I
mean, he should keep the singing. But anyway, guys, thanks for joining us today. Welcome to Lee Judges today. We have, of course, Lee, as usual, appearing on his old channel and on time today, Lee.
Yes. Well, I thought I'd better make the effort as Helen was on. Like, I thought I'd better make, never keep a lady waiting. That's what my mum told me, Dave, and that's why I'm doing that.
That's true. And we have our very first appearance from Helen. How you doing, Helen?
I'm good. I'm well. Thank you.
Well, we only saw each other a couple of days ago for my birthday.
Birthday boy.
Birthday boy. You two have both got the birthdays in this month.
Yeah.
I take it like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
One
So
day
your
after
birth-
another.
one day after the other. Is that how it is?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
unreal, isn't it? Like, you know, so
The Gemini
Geminis.
crew, Lee.
Gemini crew. There you go. I'm Gemini crew. Like, you know, that's
You're
impressive.
lucky,
Summer
Lee, to be
birthday.
around Geminis.
Yeah,
Right,
that is
wow.
true.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And was the birthday celebrations good?
Yeah, it was good actually. Had a dinner in a Spanish restaurant. Trying to prove I'm Spanish, nevertheless. You know, trying to prove my Spanish heritage. We went to Iberica in Marylebone. Helen was there with Expressions and his brother Rance, and we had a nice dinner, a couple of drinks, and then me and X gallivanted into central London, into the casinos. Wink, wink. Casinos only.
I see that. I see you went to the Hippodrome, didn't you? Like, you know?
Yeah, we did go to the Hippodrome. Yeah, of course, we done a stream there before, Lee. So I had to take X there, let him experience a casino for the very first time.
It's a quality place, and I
It
just
is.
say, like, I did get an invite, but obviously I had to work that night. So people saying like, didn't I get invited? I did actually get invited.
It was on the watch along, the most boring game I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, England versus
Germany.
England versus Germany. It was oh my god, it was so boring. It was unreal, like, you know. So I'm coming away from England. I'm coming away from that game now. I'm going to say this now. I don't know what is a penalty and what is not a penalty nowadays. I do not know the rules of football. It's completely changed, and yeah, it's not. I'll tell you what, it's something I'm not really looking forward to. Next season, if this VAR is the same, like, I'm really not looking forward to it at all, like, you know. But let's not get into that. Let's talk about.
Let's talk Arsenal first of all.
Let's talk Arsenal. Let's talk Arsenal. Of course, it's been
Lacazette.
Confirmed this week. Lacazette has departed. I'm going to ask the question to Dave. Of course, as everybody knows, is a neutral, and obviously Helen. Has he been a success at Arsenal or not? Helen, go on. You crack on first.
Yeah.
Oh. If I'm honest, statistically, it will suggest possibly not, given the last season he's had goal-wise. Overall, I think he's been a bit unlucky, Lee, if I'm honest, because he had 3 different managers, was never really the full striker, I'd say. So, I don't know.
Do you know what? I
it's
think
a hard one.
Yeah, because do you know what? I'm a little bit like you. I'm reluctant, if I'll be honest, to criticise him because I really like him.
Yeah.
If I'll be honest, I'm reluctant to say because he worked really hard and all that. But ultimately, if I'm being really honest and brutal, I think it was a failure for the price that we paid. Just didn't score enough goals. Just didn't you know? And he is actually there to score. Was actually signed to get goals. And do you know what? I said this earlier on the Invincibles. Like, I relate him to a little bit like Podolski. You know, really popular, but never really quite done it. Like, you know, and you know, he leaves the club with 2 great songs. The 2 songs that the Arsenal fans sung about him were fantastic. But for me, and I don't want to criticise, there's a real reluctance to say no, he's not a great player and everything like that. But ultimately, he just didn't do it for me, like, you know, and it really pains me. I'm finding it very hard to criticise him, if I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'm kind of exactly like you. I mean, I appreciate he was definitely one of our better players within the squad, but in terms of what he was there to do, which was score goals, didn't really happen, did it? You know, I don't think he hit over 20 goals.
No, I think he had a great season. Yeah, he had one great season, didn't he? In the Emery season, I think
it was Emery. Like, that was his best season when he played him and Lacazette, him and Aubameyang. But I like Lacazette. I find it hard to be critical, but if we're going to talk,
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, take away the person who I completely respect and adore. He's never going to go down as one of our greatest strikers. I mean, our fan base and a lot of critics criticise Giroud. I mean, at the end of the day, Giroud was, you know, he did it every season consistently. So I don't think Lacazette even reached that level.
No. Would you say, like, someone's actually put in the chat, who was better, Lacazette or Giroud?
Giroud, yeah.
Giroud, definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that as well. I think Giroud brought more to the table. Ironically, he's probably there to replace Giroud at the end of the game. But I would have to say probably, which I find a little bit strange, probably more popular than Giroud, even though I really like Giroud.
Yeah, I think Lacazette is the thing that he brought was that kind of fan favoritism. People liked him.
Yeah.
Regardless of his outcome in every match. So he was just basically, I mean, some people slated him after really bad performances. Like, for example, missed goals left, right, and centre. But I think overall, when you look at Lacazette's performances, he was adored by the fans in some aspects. But then when you look at it from statistics point of view, he wasn't the best. So for me, Giroud takes it 100%. I think Giroud actually was a much better outfit when it comes to, playing a game of football, especially for the Arsenal at that time. 100% Giroud. So Lacazette for me, he leaves on a good note to Lyon.
100%.
He leaves on a good note, but he doesn't leave on a bad one. But his statistics just maybe he was just average for Arsenal during his time.
Yeah, it's a great point you make there, because Giroud missed some gilt-edged chances for Arsenal as well, and Lacazette did. I remember Lacazette missing a sitter against Spurs. But anyway, the thing is that they were sort of more forgiven under, like the fans would forgive him a little bit more. And I have to say that credit to Lacazette for being able to become a fan's favourite, but I think because the way he interacted with the crowd, and also I think his professionalism, I think, would have to go down. That when he was left out, he never moaned or whatever. I think that was always a thing. But ultimately, a big favourite. But just didn't quite do it for me. And I have to say, I'm with Helen on this one. There, I don't really want to. I feel it very, very uncomfortable. I know it sounds silly. I feel very, very uncomfortable slagging him off on criticising, because he give his all for Arsenal.
He did his best, yeah.
Yeah, he did his best. Exactly, he did his best, but unfortunately, his best wasn't good enough. There, I've said it.
It wasn't, but I feel there are deeper underlying reasons as fans that we understand. I think the ones that understand the deeper underlying issues within the club, hence why we're more reluctant, because we know it's not all on Lacazette. He was played and asked to do things that other strikers weren't asked to do, bearing the rest of the team around him. So I think, I don't know, for me, I look a bit deeper, and I am reluctant to criticise him purely because he was asked to play in a role that wasn't the usual role that a striker at Arsenal would be asked to play. And he did quite well given all of those circumstances.
Do you think at that time is because maybe Aubameyang was more in the limelight, that he had to drop back and just become the second man, really play second fiddle to the best striker at that time?
In the limelight.
The thing is with the Aubameyang thing, the thing is he was signed in the summer, and then Aubameyang come in the January transfer window. So what that done was actually took him away from being the main man. Now that was because.
I was under Wenger.
Under Wenger, because of the mismanagement. And I agree with what Helen's saying about mismanaging. Because of the mismanaging of Sanchez that season, it meant that we had to get in there and get Aubameyang at that stage. And also we had to, don't forget, because of all this total mismanaging, we had to get rid of Giroud as well, who was had to go at Chelsea, because Chelsea, do you remember, I think it was
all to do with the deal. We had to sell Giroud in order to get Aubameyang, because Chelsea was selling their player on, and it all
was
it was like
and so it really completely, Aubameyang done very, very well in that season and covered up a lot of misdemeanors from our transfer window. And I think that Helen's right, that had a knock-on effect to what happened with Lacazette, and I don't think he ever really recovered from that, if I'll be honest.
Yeah. But is it, for me, and the title of the show is Lacazette going to Lyon a blessing in disguise? And that's the question I think posed to both of you. Is it a blessing in disguise? I'll start with you, Helen, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe it is. I believe it's a blessing in disguise on many levels for the duty of care, even to Lacazette, because I can't even begin to think for him in the workplace, just what he's been through on a personal journey at Arsenal could not have been easy. So I wish him all the best in, going back to Lyon, and just hopefully he can pick up where he left off there, because he was flying at Lyon before we bought him. And as far as Arsenal Football Club, my main concern is that I can't be having a striker that's going to struggle to score 10 goals in a season. That's just absolutely not acceptable at the level of the Premier League, never mind for Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah, I have to agree. And I also think that, was it £190,000 a week for a player that was just going to be sitting on the bench as a backup? Look, as a backup to Eddie, is ridiculous. Like when you think that the main one, is the main striker is being replaced by the understudy, and actually the understudy was doing better, if I'll be honest. Like, you know what I mean? So, I think at the end of the day, I'm with Helen on this. I think it's a good move that he's gone. We should have probably sold him last season and got a bit of money for him, if I'll be honest, and have a bit of bad business as far as I'm concerned with Arsenal. But in his defence, I thought he put in a shift this season, even though it wasn't good enough. And ultimately, listen, he's got a move to where he wants to go, which perhaps if there was a transfer fee, he wouldn't have been able to get. So, all in all, I think it's good for Arsenal. It's good for Lacazette, and I also think that every Arsenal fan, maybe I'm wrong, if I'm wrong, tell me in the chat or whatever, but I think every Arsenal fan would be wishing him well for what he does. I don't think there's no bad feelings from that point of view.
Yeah, definitely not.
There's a show intent then from Arsenal that they're going to go maybe like a lot of people are putting in the chat, and this has been heavily talked about between many clubs. Jesus as a striker, as the main man for Arsenal. Does it show intent that Arsenal want to go in that direction and get a person that can actually score goals in the Premier League, a lot of goals? Lee, yourself?
They haven't showed no intent. They've got no choice
exactly
at this moment in time, because Lacazette was always going to leave. I don't know if
they've been dragging their heels on getting a striker, haven't they, Lee? Let's be real.
Well, listen, Helen, this is the thing about Arsenal, and this is we're going to go into this now about Mr. Kroenke as well. Right, is that we've known for a year, and even realistically 6 months, that Lacazette was definitely going. We've also known that we was going to be we also know that we never replaced Aubameyang. So from January onwards, we know that we're short on forwards, and here we are, a couple of weeks into the transfer window, or even though it ain't officially open, but the deals are going on, as we know. Nothing's been nailed and done. Now, I think a proper club with proper ambitions nails that straight away before any things come up and whatever. Should have been done. Should have had a striker on board as soon as a little bit like Manchester City have done with Haaland, like straight away. Bosh, that deal's going to be agreed. It's all done and everything like that. Arsenal haven't done that, and it does worry me that we're in that sort of situation of who we're actually going for and whatever. So. We've got the internationals going on at this moment in time, but again, Arsenal dragging their heels. And listen, when you turn around and people turn around to me and say, "Oh yeah, we're clearing the decks for the for players coming in," I thought we'd done that in January as well, and we ended up signing no one. So I've got no faith in this board or anybody at this moment in time. I've got faith in Edu and Mikel to get some signings done, because they did it in the last January window. But that was the first time. This is more important for me, a much, much more important window than the last one. This is the one where it shows you where the club's going to go and where
the level of Arsenal.
Yes, that's a great shout, Dave. The level of what Arsenal are going to go. Our Arsenal got the ambition to push towards the title, or And if you push towards getting the title, that gives you a great chance of getting in the top 4, like, you know. Or are they just content of looking at, let's try and concentrate on the Europa League this season? I don't know. What this will tell me when the 6th of August kicks off, where we are. I'm going to say this now, guys. I do not want to be going into the 6th of August with the excuses, I'll wait till he gets his players in a couple of weeks' time when the transfer window ends and all that rubbish. You know what I mean? Like, we know exactly what we've got to be done. There's no World Cups to go on to and all that. It's a short window. You know what you need to do and you know what you got to do. Yeah. And, you know, I'll be furious if there's not the team that he brings out that first game of the season is not the team that he wants. So I want to see him have his striker. I want to see him have his midfield players and his defenders all in shape. It's going to turn around because I don't want to hear any excuses for Mikel Arteta this season. No excuses. Like, you know, there were excuses last season. Wait till, look like he's got his team now. What if he's got this? No excuses from the board, from the club, from the management team to the players. And that's why I'm going to get on now to what's going on at the LA Rams.
Yeah, 1 second before we do that, Lee, we got a super chat here from Chaitanya, one of our regulars. Lee in the panel, apart from lack of signings, are you concerned that we're still not offered contracts to our young stars like Saka, Martinelli, and Saliba? What's your point? Helen, start with you first on the super chat.
Good question.
That is a good question. Well, it is worrying because they are clearly better than most players we're going to be able to bring into the club, asset-wise. So that is a very big concern, and they should be looking to do that. But unfortunately, the one thing we all know, and most fans will agree on, Arsenal are not good at doing contracts. We're not good at signing players. We're not good at retaining players. We're not good at making a profit. So for me, of course, I'm really concerned because you want to be locking down these young players to very long contracts because they're the players that we may be able to sell, that the big clubs, when we're not in Europe, are going to be coming to take. Liverpool have already highlighted for several seasons now, you know, Klopp's a big admirer of Gabriel Martinelli and Saka. So, yeah, you know, like if you can't go and make sure you retain what you've got, you know, basic business. But I don't know, we're not really good at that.
Lee,
Dave, I'll be very interested what the Arsenal fans are going to feel if, because we've gone down this, what's the word, process? I hate to use the word process, but of young players, young talented players like Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, you know, Saliba as well. Really, you know, don't forget we bought him for
coming back though.
Yeah,
we're not sure if he's coming back yet.
Yeah,
it's all well him saying what he said. He has to say what he said. He's an Arsenal player, but
they've all got 2 years left. They've all got 2 years left. You cannot allow these guys, these players, to go in with a one year left of their contracts. You just cannot allow that to happen with these youngsters. You know what I mean? Like, you know, for a start, we've let Eddie go down to his last week of his contract. It's ridiculous. What I will say, though, is if we were then at some stage to sell these players, after all the fans putting a lot of energy into the young process, the young, you know, going with it, for to have it taken away from us out of our hands again, I would see the fans would be an absolute meltdown. So I think it's very, very important that they sign Mark. I think Martinelli did sign a contract. I don't know how long that was for, but Saka has only got 2 years left, as we know, and it's very, very important that we get him signed on. But I think he will. But ultimately, he's not. He's only going to be here for another 2 years maximum. If we carry on doing what we're doing, because it's great. What he's doing, he's a Howe boy and he's Arsenal and all that, but ultimately he has not played in the Champions League yet. He's not played in a major final. He was on the bench for the FA Cup final. But when you look at someone like Harry Kane that has played in a Champions League final at Spurs, has played Champions League football at Spurs, he come through the ranks at Spurs, desperate to get away because eventually he wanted to win trophies, and that is going to happen with Saka unless we sort out ambition where we can go. And this is where I go on to what on the round. Arsenal penny pitching. It looks like we're going to be doing that in the transfer window again. I then look over to the LA Rams this week. They've signed. I can't think of his name now. Is it Douglas? I don't know his name.
NFL players are not at the top of
NFL. Well, he's the highest paid player in the NFL history that is not a quarterback. Okay, so that is like massive, like like you get your head around that. The NFL, you know how mega rich that is. He is being paid the biggest salary outside a quarterback, and they've just there's another player as well that they've just signed too. Aaron Donald, that's him. That's his name. Thank you, CS. Well done. There's a prize on for you. Right, he has got that on and they've got another fella on there as well, and they've just signed mega deals. Who's signing those checks all over? Mr. Stanley Kroenke. Who does he own? He owns us as well. This is on top, guys. This is on top of a stadium that is also built over there.
And
so
land
when you
well,
say we're financially tied down by the stadium, the LA Rams are certainly not like. Cooper Cup is the other one, you know what I mean? Thank you very much. Two massive signings. Now, I believe one was on about 90, his salary about 95 million, and the other one over a 5-year deal or something, and the other one is about a 75 million pound deal. Work that out, guys, on two players that they've retained. It's over $150 million, and they're prepared to do that.
Crazy.
And what are they also? They are also the champions. They are the Super Bowl holders. So it's not like they're trying to get somewhere. They've got somewhere, and he's kicks on again, Mr. Kroenke over there, but we're skinflinting with players over here. I've actually had people in comments turning around and saying, and probably on here we can talk about it now, we won't get Gnabry because we can't afford to pay his wages. We can't afford to pay him. We cannot afford this. We cannot afford that. The same man that owns this football club is spending millions and millions of dollars on a team over in America. There you go.
Yeah, it's crazy to see. It's crazy to think. And when you look at the businesses, both of them, and both of you, I'm sure you would agree, is Arsenal basically just a savings account to bloody boost up everything? It's just basically just a purse, isn't it? It's a huge purse in the back pocket.
I think they just dump out at Arsenal. The players they want to kind of move on to the UK football scene, they can sign from their American teams over the pond to London.
Yeah.
Easy business, isn't it? Lazy work. I just think it's very lazy. It's not what's in the interest of Arsenal Football Club.
Why are Arsenal, though, Helen? Why are Arsenal on a budget of what scrimping and saving, and his other team? It's like having two brothers, isn't it? Like, you go to the dinner table, right? Yeah. And I ain't got no Yorkshire puddings and meat, you know what I mean? And my brother's eating all the veg. He's got it all there, you know what I mean? And then when it comes to the afters, I thought I might get a bit of, custard and syrup pudding. I'll just get custard.
Well, one's the favourite child.
Well, exactly. One is the favourite, and you can tell which one is the favourite, can't you?
And imagine if one supports Tottenham and one supports Arsenal, really.
Well, yeah. I'll tell you what, it's a true story. That is a true story, by the way, that my dad used to always make sure I had a little bit extra, do you know what I mean?
You're Arsenal fan.
10, 15 pound, maybe a little bit extra thing, I'd get there. When you went to Wimpy, I know it's a bad thing. This is still in. And you go to Wimpy, you get the old the Bender sausage, He'd share it with my brother, and I'd have one full, the whole one, you know what I mean? And he'd say, "That's because you're an Arsenal fan, son." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Chaitanya says that Arsenal ticket holders are literally financing the Rams, basically. That's what it is.
Something like that. Because we're not getting it. We're spending big money on Arsenal, and they're not. We don't get nothing back, and I suppose the Rams are spending the same sort of money, and they're getting everything they want. It just tells you, it's a good analogy, really. It's the favourite son, isn't it? Getting everything, and it is. You know, I've had enough of it. If that's how he feels, and get rid of Arsenal. Don't be part of Arsenal no more.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean, and see what else he's saying. Like, you know?
Yeah. Do you think it's just because he loves American football? He loves it, but he doesn't give a toss about football here in the UK. I think he just sees it as business. That's it. He doesn't give a toss about football at all.
Listen, I'll tell you.
Does he?
He doesn't even know it.
No, I'll tell you an analogy, right? You know, I love the Washington Redskins. I get the hump when they lose. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But it lasts about 20 minutes. You know, big, massive Yorkshire fan in cricket, like, you know, they lost yesterday. I had the hump for a half hour. When Arsenal lose, it goes on for days. Do you know what? I still haven't got over it. I've still not got over it.
I was going to say it goes for longer than days.
Yeah, I'm still disappointed about, you know, it's embedded in your life. And if you haven't got that, then that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what it's what it is with him. You know, he's got the passion for the Rams, hasn't he?
It's not even the passion. You know, for me, what I find really insulting, I need to bring this up because it's been on my mind for a while. The fact that they need to put out a PR statement, a whole PR program on the Arsenal way. You got to pay a company to come and find out what the Arsenal way is. As an Arsenal fan, I find that highly insulting that they have been our owners of the club for or been a part of the club for about 15 years now, the Kroenkes. They haven't just bought the club like they're trying to pretend, they've got full control the last 4 years. They've been a part of this club since the decline, really, of the club. And they need to try and pretend they're just new to it, and they need to understand the DNA of the club and the Arsenal way. How do you feel, Lee, about that?
Well, I'm with you on that. Like, there's no need for it, but you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, trying to, it's a smoke screen sort of thing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, trying to. But
the fact that they're so detached that they think that we are going to fall for this nonsense.
Well, like, listen, when it comes to the Kroenkes, I ain't falling for nothing no more. Like me, because this is a bloke that turned around to me how many years ago it was now and said, like, you're going to be excited. We will be excited. I've not been excited since that day. When have we had an exciting signing since then? Nothing. I've not been excited about anything at all about Arsenal.
And fans are not excited with signings. Let's just put that straight. We're excited when we win a title, when we challenge for a title.
You've got to start somewhere, Helen. I mean, you've got to start somewhere.
Wenger left, let's not forget, because we were not happy just qualifying for 4th place every year. You know, for 22 years, we did that. We're like having palpitations and a meltdown because we don't get top 4 with a very weak squad that is so like bare to the bone, literally, of players, that we were almost excited that, wow, because let's be real, none of us expected that we would even be in the fight for actually getting top 4 in January. The fact that they came so close was fantastic, but it wasn't on merit. It was only on everyone else. Chelsea being so bad, Tottenham being terrible until the last few weeks. Yeah, we can't, we didn't just earn the right to be in the top 4 anyway. And even if we did qualify, we ain't really got the squad. What were they really going to do? Go and buy another 12 players? Because that's what you need to be in the Champions League.
And you're right. And what it is, Dave, and what it is, Ellen, is that we was in this position back in the mid-90s. The last time we was in a bit of a lull before, after the fantastic George Graham era, we was in a lull. And what Arsenal done was they went and signed Dennis Bergkamp, and it gave the whole. I remember being in America, like, you know what I mean. It gave the whole fan base a lift. That is what we need now. I go back into the 80s when we was at our lowest point, a lot lower than what we are now. We signed Charlie Nicholas. Everybody wanted Charlie Nicholas, and we went and signed. What it was a statement, not only a statement of that, but it was an excitement. It got you buzzing. And we've not done that for the last time. We've not done that. It's different times.
I feel
and
like
everything that.
Ozil was a little bit. I
Yeah,
remember.
Ozil was kind of
Yeah.
Ozil.
Ozil was an exciting signing. I've got to say that it was.
Wasn't
and
Ober's
but
exciting
then-
signing?
Sanchez was a good signing.
Sanchez, at that point, we had the players
Yeah.
to kind of kick on.
Didn't have
But
the
then
defence,
due
though,
to
Helen.
the management, of whatever was going on with Sanchez in the dressing room, the dynamics with the players, the egos, I don't know exactly what was going on. But for me at that time, I remember always thinking, well, if there was one out of the two that I wanted to keep, it was definitely Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah, but again,
And then we
with
got
Alexis
Ozil,
Sanchez,
and he left.
you know, ambition comes into it, doesn't it? You know, he wanted to win things. And
Yeah.
someone said in the chat a little while ago, why has Mikel Arteta got the little bit more time where Emery hasn't? The fact of the matter, let's get this right. And I'll say it, and I've said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it 1,000 more. The club and the board wanted Arteta. They didn't really want Emery. They went after Arteta, didn't get him, so then they went for Emery. When things didn't go right for Emery, it still took them a long, long time to get him off there. And another point was just made in the chat, which is a very, very good point, is that realistically, does Mikel Arteta, do Arsenal know the forward they want? Because if they did know the forward they want, they've had 6 months now to sort this out, and we still don't know. You know, are Arsenal signing a forward? Have you got, you know, like, put your money where your mouth is? I'm not convinced. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal didn't. You know what I mean? I know, like, you know, you might shoot me down in flames here. I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie's the main man next season. I would not be surprised by this.
It could be a situation like that, yeah. Yeah,
I really don't. So, you know, until I see these players signed, until I see players coming through the door at Arsenal, I am never going to be convinced with the board, the appointment of Arteta, because at this moment in time, all that it suggests to me is Mikel Arteta is a cheap option. Prove me wrong and back him to the hilt because you believe in him, and then let's see what he can do with the proper tools. That's how I feel now. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to find out those two questions in the next month or so. I really am, because if they don't buy any players, then you know that he is a cheap option.
Well, the transfer window opens tomorrow, both of you. So it's a case of whether Arsenal are just going to go out there and just go full guns blazing and buy the players that they require, or they're just going to dilly-dally around and try and get something on a free, or try and get something here, or trying to get something there on the cheap, or spend a little extra, like little less pennies on one player like they usually do.
Yeah,
Helen, what's your thoughts on it?
They can do that. I've got a few concerns though. Even if they throw money at this, the problem is not a lot of players are going to want to come to Arsenal. They're not. The only player really is maybe Jesus, maybe because of he wants to stay in the Prem, or because of if he has some kind of relationship with Arteta, he might be swayed because of the whole Man City situation. I don't know. You know, we're looking at Serge because, is it just talk because the links with Arsenal? Do we really know if he wants to come to Arsenal? He might be ambitious. He might want to stay playing in the Champions League. He might not be happy to just come in London and just play, you know, second tier Europe.
I agree with Helen, but we should be in for a player that's on a year left of his contract. I don't care what anybody says.
No, we should be, Lee. But we're not.
Whether we are or not, I don't know. But we should be.
Yeah.
Whether we get him or not, I don't know. And that's a great point, whether he want to come. But we should be in the mix. We ain't in the mix for anybody at this moment in time. I do understand that I've had it on good authority that Tielemans will be done. I've heard that.
Really? Oh, that do you know what? I will be very happy if we get Tielemans. I think he'd be perfect at Arsenal in midfield.
Let's hope my sources are not HP.
So.
Where are those sources from, Lee?
Well, they're not out of the cupboard.
It's all right. I'll take Lee's. But I have to say, I still would like one more midfielder bought in. I don't feel comfortable just going 100%. Into the new season with
as well.
Yeah.
You said how many players? You got 7.
I want about 7, 8, 9.
I want Partey and Tierney replaced. Not out of the club. Right, but I want that because they cannot go a whole season without with one game a week, no European football, no whatever. Like, so I want. Some saying Tillemans and Basuma. I want them two in that squad. And Partey, you can back it up, and Tierney, because you know what, they're not guaranteed of playing every single game anyway.
Yeah, they're not.
You know? So that's why I will go down that route. 7 players. I'm with you on that, Ellen. 7 players.
Yeah.
Won't get 7.
We won't. We know we won't. But for me, we need that, and we need Saliba back ideally. Like, I don't want there to be any issue where we're gonna allow him to be using any little clauses in a contract that might have been done or anything like that. I need Mikel Arteta, if there is an ego, he needs to sort this ego out if he really wants a long-term career in, at Arsenal Football Club anyway, because I'm not convinced. I like Mikel, but I am concerned about his man management.
Is it allegiance to some sort of players, do you think?
I'm not sure if he can manage characters. And, like in the classroom, the naughty kids, they have so much potential. Yeah. And I just find that sometimes with certain players, because we've seen it with, I could sit here all night. There's loads. I could roll off loads. Torreira, we had the players. If we didn't have the money, we had the players that are our players already, all out on loan. We called back Miguel Aziz on loan. Why were we not calling back Guendouzi or Torreira or somebody else in January, Lee? Seriously now. Do you get what I'm trying to say? For me, you need to think outside the box. If you can't go and sign players, bring back your own players.
Well, I agree, but they couldn't do that because they'd signed 1-year loan deals. I don't know,
but there's got to be better contracts made then. They have to have these clauses put in.
A review, like you could put in there, we'll review it in January
or something. Clauses into contracts.
There are players. I totally agree.
For me, especially when you're back to it.
But this is what I'm getting back to, Helen. Look at the budget, the tightness of it, the shoestring budget we was on all last year, right? Yeah. Worrying about this, right? Trying to get players off off the wage bill and everything like that, and he's spending millions and millions of dollars over there. It's frustrating, and that's what we're going to go. That's where we go at this moment in time. Listen. We've got about 20 minutes left. Yeah. And we spoke a little bit of negative. I want to bring a bit of positivity.
Go on, Lee. You bring the positivity.
When we was actually talking about this on BetVictor the other day. What was the best free signing, right? And this is a signing, and I just want your thoughts. Not so much you, Dave, but for Helen as well. Was when we got Sol Campbell on a free transfer. And just want to reminisce a bit about it. Like, I remember me and my brother were doing a house in Waltham Abbey. We was actually doing a house. We was putting a roof onto. I know it sounds weird, but we bought a bungalow and was putting a roof on it. My brother's the developer, so that's what he was. That's what he was doing. We was working together at the time.
Was you making the cups of tea, Lee?
Listen, I ain't a great build. I was just looking after the job really more than anything, making sure everybody was there on time, and whatever.
And like the humour.
I was just. But my brother and me were on and it come out. I think it come out on. It would have been TalkSport or one radio station that Sol Campbell had signed for Arsenal. Like, I was going mad, and my brother was going. He had to walk off the site. He walks off the site. And he said, "I don't believe this is happening." And because he couldn't handle me laughing and joking about it and all that. It was that was an exciting signing. You know what I mean? Like, not because it was just Spurs, but I looked at that and I said, Tony Adams was coming to the end of his career, but eventually he had one more year left at Arsenal. But there was an ambition, weren't there? Tony Adams is coming to the end of the career now. We need to bring in someone to replace that, to move us forward and everything like that. And that was a fantastic thing that happened, And I have to say, I never forget. When you say I remember when Dennis Bergkamp signed for Arsenal. I remember that day when Sol Campbell signed for Arsenal. Do you remember the day, Helen? Do you remember the day?
I do.
Come on,
And do you know what? I totally agree. And I can only imagine what it was like in your household having a
Well, it
Tottenham
was
fan
like
as a brother. It's
it
like
was a
the
tough one. I'll tell
complete
you what.
bipolar opposite of emotions.
It was tough. My brother actually was fuming, and I tell you,
imagine.
like when that had come out, he was always he was saying like, you know, I was going to be Manchester United or somewhere like that. And I remember I heard it, and I actually broke the news to him. I said, you know, look who Sol Campbell signed for, and he went, well, Man United. So I said, nah. And he mentioned, I think, Liverpool. No, Bayern Munich, no. Real Madrid, no. Like, a bit closer to home, Darren. It was like, you know what I mean. And when I told him, he went, he walks off site. That's how bad it was, like, you know. Great, though.
But
Sounds good.
the one thing
Sounds
we've never replaced, Lee, since that signing, the man behind those kind of signings was David Dean.
Yes.
And we've never
Brilliant
been
point.
the same since David Dean left Arsenal Football Club, stepped away from the board. It's never been the same. It's never been the same. And I actually saw David at the last game of the season. Oh, and it pains me every time I see him. I know he's a lot older now, and the guy
unfortunately,
deserves a break,
his age
and
a
he
lot.
doesn't
Like,
need to work.
I see him quite a bit, like, and
Yeah,
he
love
you know,
him.
he couldn't come back to it. He couldn't come back now, Helen.
No, I know the reasons why, but it's just a shame because we've never had the caliber of staff required to carry on. You can't just sign, you know, a certain person that's worked in a different industry to do a certain job if they don't understand how to network, if they haven't got the people skills, if they can't go and make those deals and strike.
Someone needs to be ruthless.
To be
as well.
fair, they can't even do basic contracts. I don't even know what I'm talking about. That's to me what really frustrates me is I feel like
a bit naive, isn't they?
Naive. Listen, I run businesses, and there's no way I would employ. You've got your own business, Lee. Would you employ somebody that has no experience at doing what is required within your business?
No, you know, look, there are certain levels that you can do that with, but you're not going to put like, I'm not going to ask Dave to come and do my pressing for me, am I? Like, you know what I mean?
Do you see what I mean?
I'm not going to come and ask you to do my photography for me.
No, exactly. Like, you know what I mean? Like that, but you can ask me to carry the camera around, and I can do that.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Like, and you can learn, and that's the thing. You know, it seems to me they're all learning on the job of this.
They are.
Football club,
and it's at every level within the infrastructure of the leadership team. So who is actually the person steering this? Well, we know Josh has no knowledge on doing anything. Do you see what I mean? So who do they all answer? They've got no one to answer to. There's no accountability. So it's like they're just all.
It seems like everybody's on an apprenticeship.
Well, they are all on an apprenticeship.
It's an apprenticeship at Arsenal Football Club.
From Vinay to Edu, and I'm not even trying to be disrespectful to any of them, but I'm just talking facts. Like none of them have had any experience. It's like me, I can come on a podcast, you know, like you might not need experience to do this, but to be doing the level of contracts and business, you're talking $1 billion company Arsenal Football Club is. We're not talking like a little corner shop down the road.
Yeah, that's true. It's
so
tough to,
for me as a fan and as a person that comes from the business end of the world, I just can't get my head around this. I find it highly, I just don't get it. I mean, surely they've got people like I look at Mikel, even he doesn't have a lot of experience, and I hope he's got people that can help him, because I saw at times this season when we were picking up injuries, where was our plan B? You know, at every level, when we couldn't sign, we had one striker we needed to sign. We couldn't get him, and then we had nothing. So it's like at every level.
One thing about Mikel now, Helena, he's had 3 years. This is going into his 4th year now. And you can't. Can you label inexperience on him anymore?
No, you can't.
I don't think you can.
You definitely can't. And my biggest
apprenticeship lasts 3 years, doesn't it? 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his.
You learn the skills on the job. That's it.
Yeah, but for me, the biggest thing that really struck a really big alarm bell now is the fact that he did so well in parts of the season, but when it really came down to it, when, you know, we were 4 points, you know, in the bag.
Yeah, when it mattered.
How could he not motivate the players?
Mm.
Do you get what I mean? We can't just blame I don't know, where do you lie the blame?
Yeah, even Chaitanya, one of our regular listeners, says, look at Maldini with Milan. Of course, they won Serie A, so he says Eddie needs to learn from that and try.
Yeah.
There's going to be some motivation, I think, behind Arsenal Football Club, and if it takes someone like, for example, Lee, you always allude to Patrick Vieira could be potential manager for Arsenal in the future.
Definitely.
That would be by itself sheer motivation for Arsenal to move forward. And Patrick Vieira won't take any shit from anybody above him in that line in the board. He would just be.
I'll be honest tomorrow. I'll take.
Yeah, but we wouldn't hire a personality like that. I feel like Arsenal Football Club doesn't like people with character.
Yes, they want yes men.
Well, that's what you're saying. This is where it's great, isn't it? Is Mikel Arteta a yes man or not? We want to know that now, and this is where we're going to know, because if he is a yes man, I'm not going to be blaming him then. I'm going to be blaming the Kroenkes. What I will say is that, as you just alluded to there, Patrick Vieira wouldn't have none of that. Then all right. Well, I'd rather have someone like that that's going to demand the best than a yes man. And this is where Mikel comes into to play now. What is he? And I think you'll find out in this transfer window what he actually is. If there's only a couple of players in there, then he 100% he is just a yes man.
Or he's been sold a lie as well. Like, we don't know what they're telling, what goes on. But for me, I'm just really, I'm not looking forward to the season.
No, we need to be excited, you know what I mean? Like, we need to be excited.
Well, even Tottenham with Kulusevski signing just across the road, it's just like they should. And with the injection of cash that Tottenham are going to have, Arsenal even going to fall even more behind. Tottenham in that
we shouldn't, because our owners have money. Like Lee keeps telling us all, we've got the money. We shouldn't even be, as fans, we should not be worried about who they're buying, what they're paying for them. They just need you want to tell us, get excited, or you want to tell us you have ambition, you want to tell us you want to compete, or you want to challenge, or you want to be where you should be. Just go out and do it. Just go and do it. Do the best. Go out there and buy what you need. Surely have they not identified, 2 years into Mikel's process, what they need?
I think it's quite a crazy storm going on at Arsenal. So just a final thing before we wrap up. Next, let's say 6 weeks, how many players should Arsenal be bringing in? Both
5.
Minimum 5 over the next
minimum
6 weeks?
of 5. In the next 5 weeks, five signings need to be done.
No chance they're going to do 5.
No. Don't forget, we've got a goalkeeper that we've already signed, so there's one. You know what I mean? I do think Leno will go.
Are you excited? Yeah, Leo.
Excited, Lee, about that signing?
No, not really. You know what I mean? I do think that we'll bring in a couple of midfield. Listen, Pepe's not going to be about this season. They're going to either be sold or on loan. He won't be here. So we need to get another wide player in. And 2 strikers. So we need 5. We need 5 players. I expect. When does the transfer window open tomorrow? You say?
Transfer window opens tomorrow. Yeah.
Right. Well, I expect Arsenal to come out tomorrow with a signing.
So you've said Telemans.
It won't happen, but that's what a proper club does tomorrow. That's got no strikers at the football club at this moment in time, because we haven't got any at the moment. They come out and you show your intent. I think that if you have a look at Manchester City at the moment, they've come out and shown their intent, haven't they?
They bought Haaland. They bought in Haaland and they bought in
and the other fella from South America,
Central America,
And so they've gone in there.
Yeah, Tottenham's with Perisic, a few Chelsea are probably looking to get in some players. I don't think Liverpool will.
I know Man United need.
Man United need to up their game as well. So if you look at Man United's rubbish season last season, if they bring in a couple of players with Erik ten Hag as their manager, who is looking to show some intent, I think, in the transfer window, then they're gonna try and go back into that top 4 race slowly and gradually. So Arsenal, sixth best team at the moment trying to do business. I think in the transfer window at the moment. If that's the case across the next couple 6 weeks, you're saying
7
5
weeks,
minimum players. Let's see what happens, isn't it? We have to see
Yeah,
what happens with
exactly.
Arsenal.
There's no people can turn around and say Spurs are bigger than us at this moment in time, or this and that and all that. Like Arsenal, let's see what Arsenal go and do. Like, you know what I mean? At the end of it, like, you know.
But you said about Sol Campbell obviously as a free. Do you think you could look to some couple of free transfers for Arsenal? Maybe some. There's not going to be exciting free transfers going on.
Well, Paul Pogba's about, but you know, what I mean, he's going to go.
I don't think so.
That ain't going to happen. There's listen, there's a lot of these players are free transfer for a reason. For a reason. Everywhere and then comes a gem like a Sol Campbell that's run out his contract and all that. But ultimately, you know, like the top players don't go on a free transfer.
Well, Perisic is a free transfer as well. So
top players.
Isn't he 33 years old though?
Yeah, do you think he'd be going to Tottenham on a free transfer at 23?
He's 33 years old. He's lucky
there's
to
a reason
get
why.
a contract. Like, no disrespect to him, but I think people underestimate the level of the Prem. Like, even Lacazette was struggling towards, you know, this. I was dreading another season because every season they lose a Yardley. You know that better than me. You play football. The older you get, it's very, very hard to play at the level with these younger players. And these younger players are like amazing at the moment.
Yeah.
And to play on the wing, it's not easy.
Yeah, sorry, Helen. We've got a super chat from Nathan Minas, another regular listener on Legions TV. He finds it mad that Arteta's going into his 4th season and is expecting to just challenge for the top 4. After 4 years, the ambition should be to challenge for the title. The standards have been lowered, he says. So
I'm not saying just to get top 4. I'm telling you this now. Mikel Arteta has got to win the Europa League. If he can't get into the challenge for the title, he needs to win the Europa League. Whatever happens next season, he needs to get us back into the Champions League, like, you know what I mean, and via a trophy and whatever it is, like, you know, and that's as simple as it is. At this moment in time, you know, I wouldn't bet a lot of money that I wouldn't say that we would come 4th or 5th or 6th. I wouldn't put a lot of money on Manchester United getting into the top 4. I wouldn't bet on Tottenham getting into the top 4. Like, you know what I mean? There's still anybody's sort of a race at this moment in time. And I will say this, and we don't really know what Newcastle are going to be like, and certainly don't know what Chelsea are going to be like at this moment in time. So
Newcastle finish in the top 4 if it was the second part of the season. I think
they would have.
They would have done, and they're going to be a threat. But ultimately, I don't think there's too much difference between Manchester United, Arsenal, Spurs at this moment in time. What will define those 3 teams is what happens in this transfer window. End of. Yeah,
I agree. Cool, guys. Well, that's pretty much us wrapped up for today. Helen, first time on League Judges TV.
Well done. Great debut, that, Helen.
Yeah,
great
Helen, very good debut. Very good
Patrick Vieira debut, that was.
I'm sorry, it was a little bit of a moany debut. Upset about the season.
You know, listen, there's a lot to moan about at the moment because they haven't given us anything to bloody cheer about. That it's down to the club now to give us something to give us some hope going into the next season. Like, they really need to do something in this transfer window. Do I believe they will? Yes, I think they will. Whether it be enough, no, I don't think it will be.
Yeah.
It's another season of hoping, Lee.
That's it, pretty much. So make sure you follow Helen on Instagram. Link will be in the description below. Lee, as always, thank you for being on your own channel.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Like, you know, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, we've got some good stuff coming out content wise. We're heading to the Savoy in 2 weeks.
2 weeks today, we'll be there, Dave. We'll be there.
Yeah, we will be there today, 2 weeks today, to announce the winner behind the Arsenal raffle and who's going to have lunch with Liam Brady and David O'Leary. Very excited prize, a very exciting prize, huge prize. Helen.
2 Arsenal legends, lovely.
Not just you, 7 of your friends as well.
Yeah, and 10. No, it's 10 of your friends. They said.
Yeah, well, seven of your mates plus you makes 8,
and plus
Liam Brady and that is it.
Exactly.
So it's a table for 10.
Yeah.
So you can invite 7 of your mates. It's £10 for a ticket. We put the link in the descriptions at the back here or somewhere for it? Like,
yeah, we'll put it in this one as well.
So there's a chance, like there's a real chance that you can get to have dinner with Liam Brady and David O'Leary.
Yeah, and it's all courtesy of the Chandra Foundation, doing amazing work with schools across London, helping children, school meals, and helping disadvantaged kids in the poorest areas of London. So make sure you check out the previous video with all the information and the amazing work that they're doing. So Helen, again, thanks for joining us. Lee,
you.
amazing, obviously, having you back on your show.
That's right. Thank you very much.
And guys, it's been Scagnito on the buttons. Make sure you check out all the other content that we have coming up on this channel, and we will see you next time. Take care, guys. Have a good day.
Okay.